Hello everybody. So this is my summer garden tour. It is mid-June, and it's been around 2 months since the spring garden tour. So it's early summer, but I'm just going to get it out the way so you guys can see what I have in the garden and then the progress throughout the summer. So I have a kale plant that I transplanted from one of my kale beds over there. So it's sitting here lonely and it's getting eaten by some bugs. So I need to bring some ladybugs or some wasp or something to act as a natural pesticide. The nasturtiums have taken off, so all of this basically became a nasturtium patch. There's a few other flowers in here, like this zinnia that has been drying out, but it's because over here it's furthest away from the main garden, so it doesn't get as much water. So I need to work on watering everything here. But yeah, nasturtium patch. These flowers are edible, the nasturtiums. I sometimes use them in dishes sometimes, but for the most part it's just like an entrance garden where it looks pretty as you walk in. And then right here we have my tomato little patch right here. So I've been harvesting these big tomatoes. These are look sort of tiny. On the spring garden tour that has grown significantly are these pineapples. So they're starting to take off, getting bigger, greener, and yeah, I watered these daily from the top, and they're doing well. So that's good progress. We have the tomatoes over here, like I said. This is the tomatoes are going from this side, and they're transferring over here to this side. These tomatoes. Like this. The way of the style of my gardening is to be frugal, reuse as much as I can, and to not waste money on it, because I know gardening could be expensive, which is why people like are turned away from it. But if you really use your materials well, you could create a nice garden for the free. So I reuse water bottles to water the plants. So this is like a drip system. I found these trellises like on the streets, so somebody was getting rid of them and I just took them, and now they've been helping me throughout the garden. So yeah, I have more over here in my cucumber patch. This thing right here used to be my desk, my bedroom desk, but I got a new desk, and as opposed to throwing it away like I was gonna do, and I assume most people do, I turned it into a garden bed. So I cut it up, and now I have cayenne peppers growing, onions, strawberries of course, and then I planted a lot of other little things in here. So we'll see what comes up. The reason I say what comes up and like I don't know what it is since I chaos garden, so I just grab random seeds and I just sprinkle them out throughout every place. So everything you guys see here is all from chaos gardening. So I didn't plan anything, I didn't space anything out. I literally just sprinkle them anywhere. If my philosophy is if it starts growing is because it liked it there. With the final broccolis that we have, since it's summer, they're not producing as much, and then they get these worms on them. You guys can see these moth worms. So yeah, the broccoli is not doing so well right now since of the heat. Tomatoes, and then on this side we have a black nightshade. You guys can see the little berries coming up right here, right there, the little berries. So like I'm excited to try those. Right next to the raspberry patch. So these are little raspberries, black raspberries, and the summer heat is kicking them into like producing mode. So they're starting to really take off. Here's a little chili pot and a little pot right here. Blueberry is taking off. It's going that way, and I'm so excited to have my first blueberry raspberry harvest this year. That's been there for 2 years. I grew it when it was a tiny baby, and now it's very big. So all that. So I have a strawberry patch here, so you guys can see all the strawberries there. They're starting to grow. I need to water them today. And oh look, so here's my celery. This is pink celery, and which is why I let it go to seed, because I wanted to harvest these seeds. So you guys can see that the seeds are ready to plant elsewhere. So look, so what I do is just sprinkle them anywhere. If in a few months I get celery growing there, it's because it was meant to be. I mean, at least that's what I think. So yeah, these are just little seeds that the celery produces, and then yeah, just sprinkle them with a little bit of water. They'll start to grow. This is my cucumber patch right here. So on this trellis we have cucumbers growing, and for example here's one. You guys can see it. It's nice. And then there's just like a whole bunch down here that will grow. The only thing is that it is blocking the roses that were behind this trellis before. The rose was here before, but maybe they could live together. So this is roses and cucumber patch. There's more strawberries down here with a little bit of watermelon. I'm excited for the watermelons to come in. Yeah, so here's a little cabbage that still made it from spring season. It's looking like it is forming, so that's why I'm keeping it here. So cabbage. Then we have the raspberry bucket. So here's the raspberries that we have. Here are the first that are coming up. You guys can see them. They're nice and raspberries that I'm excited to try for the first year. Some like tomatillo plant that just came up randomly. broccoli plant, kale plants, more tomatoes over here. We got the tomato tower trellis. You guys can see that they're holding up nicely here with everything all crowded. It doesn't necessarily have to be spaced out. You guys could just put plants together and they'll like it. I mean, it looks like they like it. Here we have the squash trellis. Nice squash right there. I'm probably going to pick it today. That way energy goes to that little one down there, and then I have a nice tasty meal with some egg. That would be good. Here I just planted a few summer plants here. I think it was like melons and watermelons. So this will be a nice bucket in the future, another 2 months. Here's some broccoli left over from spring, harvested soon, and our nice red cabbage that we have here. So this one is nice and firm to the touch, but it still has a lot to grow. It is crowded in here though, so I need to cut this one out so it gets sunshine. Over here we have a recycled box that we made out of the same way we use cardboard boxes that would have gone to the trash. Add compost, soil, plant stuff. So we have basil, melon, tomatillo. I did my potatoes early and they had a lot of little baby potatoes on them, so I replanted them, and my hope is for them to survive and give me another harvest of potatoes. Here's a cucumber, I think. These kale plants came from the kale bed up there, and you guys can see the difference. So look at the size of the leaves, and then when I planted them in ground, look how huge they get. Nice and long, and they just look much healthier, other than the fact that they're getting eaten by these guys. You guys see it? Oh shoot, I feel bad, but it's eating my plants. So yeah, that's just to show that planting in ground is always better than like a garden bed, because look at how much soil it has compared to the ground, which is, you can go as deep as you want. And yeah, just a bunch of purslane, like weeds and stuff, just started growing from this bucket, but it's mainly a corn and loofah bucket. This is a pepper bucket. It's growing 4, and they're going well, with the random carrot in here. And we have some lettuce, a little tree. The kale bed is nothing but kale right now, but I planted onions and carrots in between to grow in the space between. This is a Dollar Tree tower that has a lot of plants growing. At the top is melon, watermelons, and they have a tomato that's already setting fruit right here. And then we go over here. Tomatillos growing over here, some tomatoes, and a cucumber over there. You guys can see. And we have another garden bed over here made with a reused, some petunias, the chili plant over here, the strawberry patch where I could reach, and then it has like a few broccolis here, some more broccoli down here. I chopped off a big head of broccoli here. You guys can see where I chopped it off, and now little ones are coming out. Some tomatoes. So yeah, everything's coming nicely with the sun, and I just have to remember to water them constantly. Here we have a lonely corn. I'm trying to keep it alive, but it's in a place where the soil is pretty bad compared to the rest of the area. Over here we have some potatoes that I just sprinkled across, and I hope to grow alongside here, the path. We have some red baby sage and more potatoes, celery bucket, random summer seeds, and then we have a cabbage. This one we rescued. It was a transplant that was like dying somewhere else, and so I put it in the recycled box method, and it's doing well now. It has a little ball forming of cabbage, and I planted some tomatoes alongside her, so they're coming up too. Over here we have the jalapeno pepper. I had one, but I harvested it. Right now it has none, but it has a few forming already. With asparagus, we put asparagus inside here just to see if it'll grow in a bucket. So this is asparagus at like 3 months old, as you see, and as well the melon is growing over here. So we're waiting for a little melon to come out from here eventually. Potatoes. Over here we have the rest of the garden, which gets the sun in the afternoon. Over here is mainly the morning area, and then right here the strawberries that are all down here get their sunshine in the afternoon. So we have this little strawberry, needs a little time. This one as well. And yeah, there's just random stuff all hidden in here, which is sometimes just like fun to look for. But yeah, all the strawberries are coming in because of the sun. Everything is looking nice. Cucumbers with green beans. We have little green beans here. Little cucumbers. You see the little baby cucumbers. Strawberries all along here. A random papaya tree. Hopefully that produces soon. And then we have a little shelf where I fill it up with pots. So right now we have marigold with a jalapeno. So here's a little jalapenos turning a little yellow. You can see that. Cucumbers, which grow along here. You guys can see it. It's growing up on the little shelf. More cucumbers. And then strawberries, little flowers. You can see the strawberry right there. We have corn right here. So this is strawberry corn. It's like a popping corn, and you guys can see that it's forming up. So I'll harvest that soon. And then we have a little squash that's getting pollinated. You guys can see the pollen on the female flower. We have a cabbage over there. You can see the cabbage. Broccoli, tomato, some more tomatoes. This one's ready. I think it's like a chocolate sprinkles tomato, so it looks brown. And then we have the green beans, the runner beans, my bad. And these are so delicious to eat. But if you wait long enough, you can harvest the little inside beans and then make like a bean soup. That's what I did here. That's why these are opened up. We have this aloe vera. It's dying on me, so I think it's because I planted it in the wrong place, because they don't need that much water, but all of these other plants do. So when I water it, it gets a lot of water, so I need to move it. This is a Mexican sunflower, and this is how it looks over there. I have a few. We have some potatoes that are giving off their little berries, but these are poisonous, so don't, if you guys have potatoes and see the berries, don't harvest them. But yeah, there's potatoes growing here in this corner, and I'll wait for a summer harvest around like August, I suppose. So everything's growing along here. There's tomatoes over there too, in between there. I harvested a big yellow tomato before from there. So this is pretty much the garden in summer and how it will look until. This is the shady side of the garden, so all these plants do well within shade, and because of that tree I don't get much sunshine there, so these are the shady plants. So we have like a cabbage, broccolis, the geranium, inch plant. This tomato is doing good even though it's in the sun, in the shade, sorry. So we have tomatoes coming up from here. Same over there, there's a tomato over there. And then we have radishes and strawberries. So not much of squash or corn on this side because they'll die since they don't get much sun. But yeah, this is the garden. And if you have stuck around to the end of the video, comment your favorite fruit or vegetable emoji to be part of the 300 sub giveaway. And yeah, thanks for watching.